You want it for real? He wasn't set up yet.
I'm always set up. I'm ready to go.
Well, welcome to another episode of FarmAnywhere's Customer Profile. Today, we're actually sitting in Vancouver's factory here, and with me, is Jonathon Murray, CEO of Heartee Foods. Welcome, Jonathon.
Thanks so much, Gab. Great to be here.
Yeah, well, how do you like beautiful Vancouver, BC?
It's great. The weather has been cooperating with us while I've been out here, so I've been really enjoying that. But we've been in the facility and in the farms quite a bit, so I'm excited to take advantage of it tonight before my next flight.
Yeah, and I'm excited that you were able to come in and kind of mingle in with the team for a few days, see the operation of how we build the farms and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was great. And it brings me to my first question is that when you were looking at a solution like that for your company, what was like the main point that you needed to have, the main pain point that you wanted to solve?
So when it comes to, are you referring to container farming in general or FarmAnywhere as our supplier?
Container farming in general, especially that you grow mushrooms and therefore you have specific needs.
For sure.
And a really different kind of vision that you wanted to fulfill as well.
Absolutely. So mushrooms and the type of mushrooms that we grow, which are gourmet mushrooms, primary decomposing mushrooms, one of the biggest challenges with these products on the market is a limited shelf life, right? And so if you don't have your product close to your customer, if you're not delivering it to whether it's restaurants, retailers, whoever it may be, within 24, 48 hours, there really isn't a long shelf life for them to be able to enjoy it, use it in a productive way. And so we really needed to have something that we could create a hyper-local solution and get it delivered to customers within 10, 15, 20 kilometers and not what some might consider local, which can be up to 1,500 kilometers. So the container farming solution was definitely the way to go when we built out our business model.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely for sure. FarmAnywhere is all about hyperlocal and the leafy green side as well and all that. For sure, the mushrooms is one of the most beautiful use case possible with what you just mentioned there. And so when you were looking at different suppliers, different vendors to fulfill that need, what problems did you encounter at that point?
Sure. Well, I'll be candid with you. We did work with a different supplier before FarmAnywhere. And so when we jumped into it, we wanted to work at speed. We wanted to get a product out in the market. And sometimes you just need to go that route without doing a full deep dive and evaluation of what's going on. So we did run into challenges. We ran into challenges where the product that we had designed internally wasn't what we received, right? And when we received it, quite frankly, it didn't really work very well. And so we had to go through the process of a number of months of iterations to get it up to a point where it would operate and function in a way to grow mushrooms. We realized that we needed to find a partner that would be able to work with us, right? A partner that we could be honest and transparent, work with from a design process, from a macro level of like, this is the concept, to a micro level, which we talked about today, and getting 3D printed end caps. Right. So those types of collaborating opportunities, it really comes down to people. And that was the biggest decision of working with FarmAnywhere was take a bow, was working with you.
Yeah, well, it's really good to hear. We always work in trying to have a no ego type of approach to every single customer that approach us. Every farmer has a different use case, and it's really important for us to really be able to be nimble and to address all of those needs. And that's also by being transparent with our plans, be able to show you what you're going to get beforehand, and also like having you here today along the entire process all the way down to QA. What's the next step for you at Heartee Foods as a vision where FarmAnywhere can help you fulfill for the future?
Yeah, so we're always looking to iterate and create a more simplified solution. So simplicity is beautiful, right? It was a focus for the greats like Steve Jobs, is making it user-friendly. And what I find really exciting about our work together is we encounter challenges together, whether it's something as simple as like racking and shelving. How do we find a unique solution to shelving, right? Could be mundane if you don't think about it really thoroughly. And so we're finding use cases to not only save money, create a simplified product, something that's great for cleaning, great for our operators, because ultimately it's one thing to have a concept and design on a CAD drawing, but once it gets into the field, once our team is farming and we're producing thousands of pounds of gourmet mushrooms per container per month, it's a lot of work. And so we find whether it's small or even big improvements, and we work on it together. We're on version 12, 14, 16?
At least, yeah. I mean, maybe subversions there, things along those lines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really great opportunity for us, is that we know that if we identify, and encounter a problem, we're planning to have hundreds of these containers out in market in the next few years. And we know that if we identify something, we can let you know. And in the next version, right, your ERP software is going to submit that to your team. Change will be made. The next version that comes out of the shop will have that improvement. And it's very unique. It's not something that we've seen in the market when evaluating partners. And you're always trying to look for ways to create simplification, cost savings, supply chain robustness. And we really appreciate that, because that's a huge part of manufacturing these days.
Yeah, 100%. And to the point where the racking system that we were just talking about to hold the mushroom bags, the substrate, needed to have a custom solution, and we didn't have the tooling to be able to do so. And so we went out and invested in powder coating to be able to get that manufacturing step higher, to be able to provide a better product for Heartee Foods. And so you came to us and you said, hey, we need a container in Vancouver. And then what did we say?
No problem. Let's turn it on.
It's
there.
Yeah.
So we've got a container on site. One of the beauties of container manufacturing and container farming is that really you can do it almost anywhere, right? And so we've got one next door. It's producing mushrooms right now, and a really exciting thing that whenever someone hears this, today was the day that we received our Global Gap certification, and so we'll be selling these mushrooms into retail. Global Gap is one of the highest international standards for mushrooms. So certain certifications in Canada don't cover mushrooms. We had to go global. And so we've created a system, we've created an SOP that goes along with our container farms here. And we are what we understand to be the only multi-site container farm that's growing gourmet mushrooms in the world. And we're growing them right here next door.
Fantastic. And that really allows us to be able to really get into the deep when it comes to the operation of the farm as well, because there's not just the option of just growing inside a container. There's the impact on the farmer on the day-to-day operation, cleaning, maintenance, SOPs, and all that has a repercussion on the actual design of the container. And having a container next door to us in our R&D bay really allows us to explore those kinds of solutions quickly and iterate even faster than we could ever do before. And thanks for bringing
Absolutely.
that. Just beside also another container farm, a Leafy Green as well too, that you can visit if you're interested as well. And so in terms of your future plans, where you're doing one container in parking lots, but lately you've seen a trend into expansion. What does that trend look like? Because a lot of people think one container, you just stick it in the parking and that's it.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Well, it's a great point. So when we first started, we were almost pleading with people to believe us, right? Like, I promise, like, this is going to be great. We're going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to grow these mushrooms. Just like, give us some space. And so that was, it feels like forever ago, but a year ago. And now we're having people come to us. And so not only are we having people come to us to look at our solution as a piece that fits into a sustainable community, or a high-rise development in a downtown core, or even really internationally recognized research centers. They want us there, and that's a testament to the quality of the product that you put out. So the professional, when they come in, they see it, they're very impressed. They believe that we're going to be able to do what we say we're going to do. So that's a big part of it. But when it comes to our expansion plans, quite frankly, when we first launched our initial farms, we had the belief that we would be able to sell them out. We had the belief that we'd be able to build these markets, but maybe not quite as quick as we've been able to do so far. And so, your best customers are your existing customers.
100%.
And we're now expanding in territories that we already exist. So we're going from 1 20-foot unit to 4 in Toronto. We're, tripling our grow space in Ottawa. We're doubling to a couple of different sites in the US. And then there's some really exciting projects coming down the pike that I we plan not to reveal today, but they're big.
Stay tuned for that for sure. But definitely a big part of our thinking in the future for the next couple months on the operation side is Jonathan and his team relaying that information to us and us being able to spool the production up to the point where if he calls tomorrow morning with that special little tidbit right there,
Yep.
that he's ready for it, then we're also ready for it to expand as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And so with expansion, those farms need to also have support, right?
Yep.
And how do you feel about FarmAnywhere's support in your team on the deployment and on the day-to-day maintenance?
Yeah. Now, I feel really special, but maybe I'm not. But being able to have direct line of communication to your team, if there's an emergency that's taking place, picking up the phone and calling, it's critical, right? Like, how many people out there have experienced a situation with anything, whether it's their cell phone, their car, and they try to get something fixed, and it's critical, and there's nobody there. There's no human that they can interact with. And so maybe it's just because we're good friends now and you like me, but you seem to pick up the phone quite often. If it's not you, it's someone on your team.
Right. Yeah.
And when it comes to farming, you can't get more critical than that, right? I don't mind sharing a situation where one of the lots that we had a farm on, unfortunately ran into a situation where the lot owner just happened to forget to pay their electrical bill one day, right? And so power was shut off by the city. It was told to be back on imminently, which ended up being, I think, 36 hours later. But once we got the alert that power was off to the container, the first question was, what went wrong with the container? Well, nothing. But your willingness to troubleshoot consistently for I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning Vancouver time when we started, sounding the alarm. Obviously, we got the situation sorted out and didn't lose a single mushroom in that crop. But the willingness to help, even though the error and the situation wasn't even a FarmAnywhere issue, is a testament to your willingness to help your clients no matter what the situation.
For sure, the farmer is always going to be as successful as the equipment that he's in it. And that's why we have the philosophy of keep it as simple as possible. Reducing part is the best part. And that happens on a day-to-day basis. And that particular situation that Jonathan is bringing up right now, it brought us to our next version, the next iteration, where we found a few things that could reassure the farmer itself as to what possibly could be going wrong and how to diagnose it even faster to get to the solution even at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's going to be part of that next big iteration. Stay tuned for that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming to the factory again today. I think we can wrap it up. Anything you wanted to add?
Thanks so much for your commitment to being a great partner, and we're excited what the future is to come.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Thanks.